Welcome back to episode 50 of the Block Runner podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman.
What's going on, boys?
All right, and today we bring you Corv. He's going to walk us through some of the stuff that he created in Decentraland, and today we're bringing a roundtable of Decentraland citizens. And we're going to be talking to FrankyNeedles as well as Lastraum.
I'll call them Decentraland All-Stars. That's what I'll call them.
Yeah, there you go. Creators, buyers,
straight up ballers.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Whatever you want to call them.
All right, so let's get this thing going.
I'm super excited for everything, even for today. 3 o'clock, we got the meetup, and there's gonna be NFTs in that.
Yeah, so I guess the plan is we're gonna talk up until that point, and then y'all are gonna hop in.
Right in.
I screwed up. I forgot to bring my computer. I don't know how I forgot that. That's like essential, but I guess I was so excited. I was so excited for
to
the
baseball game, no glove.
Exactly. I'll just watch y'all have all the fun, I guess. Whatever, and I'll react to y'all's experience. That's what I'll do.
There we go. The peanut gallery.
But yeah, man, dude. So tell me, man, what kind of wearables are you rocking now? I heard you're stocking up on like some rare stuff.
Yeah. I'm starting. I'm trying to become fly. You know I got one of those skeleton torsos.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so like I got the skeleton torso on the head, and for some reason the head doesn't really work together unless you have the legs. So that was weird. And then when I was gonna go buy the legs, Maddie went and bought all the skeletons.
Yeah, I was talking to Will. Dude, Maddie is a true whale, dude.
That's my guy, man. Yeah, and he does more for DCL than most people understand. So that to me is just like Maddie's my guy.
Yeah, he got us hooked into this, man. I blame him. You know.
Yep. I don't know if you guys saw last night, and I might be getting ahead of ourselves with so we don't have everybody here, but Chico Crypto stopped into our Discord last night.
Oh, for real?
And so him and Maddie started kicking it, I think. So it's good.
Oh, okay. In the Decentraland Discord?
In the Decentraland Discord, yep.
Okay, cool.
What did he say?
He just stopped in. He was asking for content, he needs more information to make another video. So I'm happy for that because that's big for our space, you know?
Yeah. Dude, not just him. I saw a bunch of other YouTubers, like they're just now starting to I don't know what you call it.
Wake up to it.
There you go. They're waking up, dude.
Yeah, listen, with a lot of these guys were early investing in other assets. So to them, this is kind of like a small thing, you know?
That's true.
To us, I think we understand what's going on here. So I think that it's like, we can see the potential because it took a little while. I got into it. I was like, I get it, but I didn't. I still looked at it as a video game. And today I don't look at it as a video game at all.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's like a whole different.
A couple games on there and stuff, but it'd be like games on Facebook. Why would you?
That's true.
Go that hard. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather have a business that runs on, makes a lot of money off of Facebook, you know?
Yeah, we're looking at it more as a business now.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as a platform, and in the future, people are going to be able to have what they would have on their website on a plot of land like this, and that's going to change everything with how you can interact with the internet.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more.
See, we got to explain it like that to people so that they don't just like walk in and be like, what's going on here?
Well, you know, this is the reason why I wanted to have this meeting too, was I watched an interview with Carl the other day. Carl from Wearable.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
All right. So he talked about how if you were to walk around Decentraland, right, it's dead. Like not dead, but like you'd be maybe the only 2-3 people walking around in a big area.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you go into the Discord, it's alive.
Yeah.
We all have ideas. We're all kicking this and that back around, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of information to take in. So if you get into the Discord, that's when you're going to understand what Decentraland's potential is and all that. That's how it was for me. I mean, I got in there and started I don't think I asked questions for like 2 months. I didn't say nothing. I had to look. And then I started to get to know everything. You guys' podcast helped out greatly, and that's why I started getting in touch with you.
Yeah. And
then, that was like little by little, taking a little bit. I'm brand new. I don't code anything. I don't design nothing. Although little by little, I keep, dipping my toe because like with the design contest, we had a design contest for
the wearables. NFTs, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the wearable NFTs that are going to come out on the 20th. So, I was like, I really want. We were joking. We were all in the Discord joking, like putting up pictures of what we thought would be cool.
Yeah.
And I put up a picture of Ben Baller, and if anybody doesn't know, he's one of the biggest jewelers in the country. And he had all this crazy jewelry on. I was like, that's what I want. And Toon Punk was like, then make it. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, so I went in, learned a little blender, chopped one up, was like, what you think? You know?
Yeah.
And then like, it was funny because like H. Provokos, I think it was, he was like, I think it'd be better if it was like this. And I'm like, homie, I don't have the skills to do all that. You know, this is the best I can do right here. It's a concept.
Yeah, I thought that chain that you showed us was pretty good. I mean, I was like really impressed. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I think that if I were to give myself a little bit more time on Blender, I'll figure it out. And I probably will. Everything is time and, you know, money.
You know, one of the things I want to create with wearables is like little animations. Like let's say you have
I
like
think that'd be huge.
Yeah, exactly. It's like let's say like we're like in our land we have a bunch of orbs. Like what if we create a wearable where there's an orb revolving around the character?
Remember this yesterday where we were talking about the block runner wearable outfit?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
And first of all, I think that should be a thing. And I think we're going to be doing votes on NFTs, and if you guys don't win that vote, I'll lose my money.
Have you guys, like, in that realm, have you guys ever done any kind of VR stuff, whether it's Xbox or
I bought an Oculus
or
I bought an Oculus earlier
Samsung
in the
Gear.
wintertime, I think it was, and I was messing around with it, and we're just not there, man.
Well, what's interesting though, on like the wearables, and as the wearables have kind of advanced in DCL, I've kind of been thinking about this chat app called VR Chat. It was on Samsung Gear and whatever, and it was kind of like a Second Life or just like a meetup, but in a virtual world. And you got to customize your avatar, but you didn't really customize a piece of land or anything. There were different locations that you got to go meet up at.
Meeting halls
and I think having the wearables is a big part of attraction for DCL going forward, because as Frankie just said, like you walk in the world, there's not a lot in there. I mean, yes, there's a lot of hype about around 10 to 15,000 people, but for a world to take off, there needs to be an attraction. And I think having more customization in wearables like animations and things like that will really drive people to want to come and be social, to want to come in and interact with other people, and then explore.
A little bit while I was like, thrown off for the past couple of weeks, because we haven't been able to really interact with the wearables, you know. And it was funny because we were at a point with the wearables in the market, it was kind of going crazy. Like I made some money off wearables already. I made a couple $100 off wearables already. And
that's
awesome. You know what I mean? And like then we had the thing with the wallet, which is cool. It's fine. This is part of the process of, you know, getting everything up. And I think it's going to be up to date during the playtest. But regardless of that, you know what I'm saying? Like it made it so it's hard to show everybody, you know, like I was like going out in my skeleton outfit and now I can't, you know, but all that'll be fixed within the next, I think, couple hours. I think so.
I think like I got in the world in 2018 and I was flipping land with Maddie, and I was very successful. And I was flipping land left and right. And then this whale came in, and it was like the first whale of DCL, and he was buying thing, and it almost was like an algorithm. Anytime a piece of land would come up for a certain price under like 12,000 mana, it would get snatched immediately. And like algos were buying stuff, and it was just one guy, and it's come so far since then. I fell out of the world, I came back into it, but like again, I think the attraction and what you guys are doing in Meta Zone and stuff, gaming, wearables, like interaction like that is going to push this to be more mainstream. I'm just a little concerned with the whole decentralization of it, and I know they mentioned that in a couple of recent announcements, because I'm playing devil's advocate. It's like, what's the point of decentralization and having all of these tries and polys, hurdles, no streaming, no video, and what's the give and take, right? So we're giving up all that. What's the take? And it's not decentralized yet. And so it was nice to hear that is still part of their conversation, and that it's coming around the corner, the decentralization nature of it, because we've been giving so much as, you know, developers and people and you know, newcomers and early adopters to the world, that we really haven't been, you know, taking anything that has been, you know, of equivalence to being on the blockchain. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how they can overcome those obstacles, scaling, things like that, integrating with Matic, really making this a platform and not even thinking about it being on the blockchain. Because right now, as a developer, and I help a bunch of people in the world, you know, you're running into all these obstacles and hurdles of being on the blockchain, and then you start questioning, well, what's the point? And I think they're starting to address that now with the DAO and everything.
I wonder, once it gets decentralized, how are they going to manage updates? Is it going to be sort of like a DAO consensus Kind of like what they do.
Before we go, hold on, real quick, before we go, I didn't know I had to look this up. The DAO, what is that?
It's a Decentralized Autonomous Organization. It's essentially a mechanism for a group of people to come to a consensus.
It's a governing, essentially.
Yeah.
Because like the big experiment
like
with
a code
blockchain.
for governing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're basically programming governance.
Yeah.
So no one has a say over someone else. It's already pre-programmed.
Yep.
But you can. The way they have the Agora system, are all landowners, in that huge conversation of who gets more value, mana holder, landowners, who's voting on, the updates or who's voting on the roadmap. There's just so much to it that it's like, shit, man, then we're on the blockchain and it's like VR, where did that go? Streaming audio, streaming video, exterior images, local file systems where, what I want to build is having developers upload everything in the world. Go to the store, maybe go to the developer floor of the MetaZone store, upload your whole project folder, give deployment rights. And then the flip side is a purchaser, go to the purchasing section and then buy shit and have it automatically deployed. So there's a lot of like walls that need to come down and be figured out. And I'm still waiting to see how that's going to be overcome since it's on the blockchain.
Yeah. But at the same time, we're going to have E2.0 come out soon enough, and that should speed things up. I saw this video of somebody testing some ridiculous amount of numbers of transactions. So I think that could help as in general.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of like the ecosystem's been waiting for that, I guess, the scalability issue. That's the big problem with Ethereum in general.
Exactly. But there's so much going behind Ethereum right now, like so many projects, the DeFi thing, like I feel like I don't know, man. It's hard for me to bet against Ethereum right now, as in general.
For sure, it's undervalued.
Yeah, but see, we interviewed Andreas Antonopoulos, and that was like our big thing with him. Like, we addressed the idea of scalability, and he was just kind of like, man, it's not even something I'm worried about anymore. Yeah. He has his own sayings. What is it like? One blockchain, many.
So many chain, one network.
Yeah. So. Almost
there's
like
a lot of blockchain slogans, huh?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and he pioneers a lot of them, right? Because
that's what I'm saying. Like Andreas Antonopoulos alone.
Yeah. So it's obviously something we have to pay attention to, because if as gamers, the platform itself, it has to be like Lastraum was saying, like almost like when you're going through it, you're experiencing it, you're not aware of there's a blockchain happening in the background. It's got to be like a seamless experience for the gamer.
That's why I sent you guys the thing about the Samsung wallet. It's not about like how I think that's so awesome. It's simply, I think that people would gravitate to that more than they would gravitate to what I use on my phone or whatever,
Yeah, because it's easier to onboard them because they already have a Samsung phone. They just have to.
Yeah, you buy the Samsung, like, oh, look at this feature. And the dudes are always just trying to mess with any feature on their phone that's cool, new, whatever, So,
see, I thought wallets were going to be like a big barrier to entry, like friction. I had like one of my normie friends who doesn't know anything about blockchain, and I've been telling him about Decentraland, and I was like, hey man, reserve an avatar, and I just kind of like let him figure it out, and he figured it out pretty easily. Like it wasn't that hard for him. The only issue was he was using MetaMask, so like I gave him 100 mana to create his avatar, and he's like, yo, it's not working. And then I had to explain to him he needs gas. Yeah, he needs to put some ether in there. Yeah, that was the.
I set a couple people up. I sent them a couple dollars in ether, a couple dollars in mana.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the big barrier, and I think things like Dapper are fixing that, where there's like no fees to use their wallet. So I guess the main point is like these things are progressing little bits at a time. And again, one thing Andreas like emphasized, like when the internet first started, there's tons of friction. There's tons.
Like I was telling you guys last time, I grew up poor as hell. I didn't have a computer until like 2001, B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like internet wasn't even a thing for me until I was like a grown up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like things we joke like things operated without the internet for so long, and now we act like we can't even live without it.
Yeah, I had Bitcoin 10 years ago, and I was like, what the hell is this thing? I was like, I don't know what it is. I got to get it. Had it at $100 and
Jesus,
sold it at $1,200, and I thought I was a genius because it went down to $300. And I was like, hell yeah, buy low, sell high. Love it. And that was like 2010, I think, 2011. And look where it is now. I mean, it's crazy the progress, right? So who knows where DCL or the Ethereum network or anything will, be in 10 years. But I think those types of hurdles will really hinder just the super passive kind of social online gamer. I mean, trying to always, and I know it's difficult to do, and you know, you shouldn't do it always, but you know, you equate it to Second Life, or you equate it to like Sims Online, or you equate it to something like that, and how many people were just rushing to play that and how awesome it was. But then, you know, there's all these hurdles, and then you start whittling down the market, and it's like, okay, how many active people really are going to be in this world? And then how are we going to expand that?
I think the first people
beyond the early adopters, right?
Yeah, I think the first people we're gonna grab hold of is the crypto community. So I feel like I'm feeling a certain everybody's been kind of waiting for it to come out before they do anything. Like they don't trust it.
That's true.
You know, if you've been in crypto for long enough, you don't trust anything. You know, so they don't trust it. But then when it comes out, I feel like we will get the crypto people first, and then that'll be the start to me.
You know, one of the things that I think about often is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, right? The best time to buy Bitcoin was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, we look at DCL now, as early as it is, we almost every day sort of question ourselves as like, dude, are we wasting our time?
Yeah.
Like we're trying to.
It was like October time when I was really questioning myself, like, what am I doing with this?
Yeah.
Like, this is stupid.
And that's why all of us are gambling, and we're speculating that everything's going to be like, great for us in the future, because we're investing so much time and effort and energy and resources and money, and just trying to build something that may or may not turn into something that's going to be as big as Bitcoin, 5 years from now, or whatever.
But the thing I will say about this is that I think that Decentraland, at the end of the day, what we all take from Decentraland is going to help us, regardless if Decentraland works out or not. In my head.
I totally agree. Like, I mean, we've learned. We've learned
understanding about metaverses, being the first couple of people that even mess with metaverses and know how that works.
Yeah,
it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, we've learned so much about everything. Like Oscar Corv here, he hasn't. He wasn't building 3D games until Decentraland, right, Oscar?
Yeah, everything was 2D up until DCL happened.
Yep.
Well, what's the big?
That was like me. I was building 2D stuff in high school back in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
on addictinggames.com.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know what I was doing then. I don't even know if Addicting Games is still around, but like, I've been in, like I said, in and out of the world. So I had renewed interest, and a lot of good progress has come about. So we'll see where it goes, and speculating on working on stuff when I can. It's a great hobby of mine, and I'm decent at it. And so I just want more mass adoption outside of the Discord, and helping people as much as I can, whether it's programming or one-off items. I just onboarded my cousin. We were talking about getting other people. Set him up on MetaMask. I sent him a couple hundred mana. He registered for an avatar. He's a really good artist, and he submitted some stuff to the land collection, and he won. He won a prize. And,
nice.
And he's like, holy shit! Like this is incredible. So I'm gonna start working with him on some wearables. And maybe, he's like a weird wearable designer that is super unique, and there's only so many of those NFTs that we create. And
I'm gonna have to talk to you about talking to him in a little while, because I gotta get that jewelry thing going.
Dude, he's an amazing artist, and I take his stuff from paper and his draw pad to Blender and 3D, and then hopefully to wearables.
That's dope.
Yeah, one of the things, another thing that I think about is, like, for example, MetaZone, it took a lot of effort to build, and a lot of the things that are going to create the incentive for the masses to come in are still left to be built, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I don't think that most of the things that we build right now are going to look important later.
Yeah, and the other thing is like, the other thing is essentially, what I'm afraid of is the launch is going to happen, and people are not going to understand what they're looking at, and especially
that's going to be a given. That's a given. Like, you can't expect too much from the launch. After the treasure hunt, expect it to be a little bit of time where people are trying to figure out what they just looked at.
Yeah, I just hope people, like us, don't get disinterested in the launch, not as being like this revealing Facebook, like scouring the world kind of launch and allure. It's going to definitely take time and iteration, and hopefully the people who have been creating stuff, especially me, don't lose sight of the future. You know, it's going to be a slow process. This isn't going to be a public launch and millions of people join.
And that's why I haven't been beating down the door about like doing the project. I'm like, yeah, I could do my project, but like, let's give it a minute. There might be things that come out in SDK that could really help my project. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing is, you're right. I think Lastraum and Frankie, you hit it on the nail. I think the launch isn't going to bring millions of people, and millions of people aren't going to be visiting Decentraland on a monthly basis. I think it's going to be this growth thing where those who invested early on I think like all of us are going to really benefit. And once we collect these resources, we're just going to make what we're doing a lot better. And
like if I can, sell some of these skeleton things, I can take care of the straw real quick. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I was I work in commercial real estate. I've got a couple screens, and I was flipping land, and coworker turned over. He's like, "What the hell are you looking at right now?" And it was the marketplace, and I said, "Dude, I just flipped a piece of land for like $700." He's like, "What?" And he's like, "Where?" I said, "In this virtual world." And it's like come so far from the marketplace to like the beta to like open the public launch to where it's going to go next. So it's been so iterative that I hope that people are developing things, and Interweaver and Spider Monkey and all these other guys. Box games with the casinos and such. Like, I hope people just keep on. Sticking around, because slowly but surely it's gonna, osmosis through beyond the crypto world, and then people are gonna get more involved. But I think the big thing, really, what you mentioned earlier, is the DAO and updating, and what that whole roadmap looks like. Who has the rights to say, okay, guys, put VR on the roadmap for 1 year, and then who? How are we going to focus on that?
I don't know.
What some other group of 6 people who are actually developing want streaming video versus VR, or want, more polys per land versus VR. I think that's going to be a huge, huge thing, is the governance of what comes next.
Become a lot bigger for us, and and that's just going to have to be a thing.
With the DAO,
we've done only so many votes.
Right. With the DAO, the one thing I have confidence in DCLN is that it's going to be persistent. It's going to exist whether we like it or not. And that's why I think our investment into Decentraland it's a worthwhile one, because it's not going to be wasted. The land will exist forever. The stuff that we deploy on land will exist forever.
And look at some of these garbage old games that still exist right now. That do still play. I forgot what it was. I think the one that
Flappy Bird.
I don't even know, but
you don't hate on Flappy Bird, dude. What are you doing?
I don't like none of these games. I played like 3 games,
Yeah.
Like 2K. I played Xbox and shit like that.
Yeah.
I come in that DCL. That's why I tell you, I'm the worst computer player. I'm out there like, I'm falling off and shit. Terrible.
So like games like Counter-Strike, people still play Counter-Strike even though it's like 20 years old.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of old. I can't remember none of this. Like the beginnings of what the metaverse was. They used to have those back then. And some game that I saw something when the dude from Somnium Space, Arthur, he talked about the game that he came from, that he was playing. It was like some 2D kind of like, I guess not 2D, but it was like, it wasn't fancy at all. It was on like PlayStation 1 or something. I don't even know. That time period. Maybe it was a computer game, but whatever. But it was the same thing. It had an economy. People were making money in the game. And like it still exists in 2019.
Yeah, you get hooked into these experiences, man. Especially like the reason I like Decentraland personally, because it has a lot of like elements of like an MMO, which is my background, my gaming background, dude. I played World of Warcraft for a decade.
Yeah,
literally a decade. I was hooked into that world. It was literally my priority. Like I applied.
And I can see this if we can get and that's why we can talk to you guys about building some sort of like group of things that, like, even with the talking about the virtual currency, that doesn't have a value, like mana, things like that, where you make it more of something you can grind, because right now there's no grinding element to any of the things that's going on.
That's true.
Build something that people can grind and that we could interact with each other, like with our own lands. Let's say, you can win this prize from the block runner, but if you don't get the thing from the paint project paint, then you're not going to be able to complete the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that would drive people to stick around and
Yeah, and that's why I agree with Lastraum. Like he said, wearables is going to be a big thing. Like I said, you play WoW. The whole reason to play WoW, well, not the whole reason, but the reason to try hard at WoW is to acquire the rarest in-game wearables, I guess you'd call them. It's gear, it's loot, and the reason behind it is it's the same human behavior that you work so hard in the real world to acquire these assets, this flexible stuff where you can they're status symbols in a way.
So, on top of that, Iman, we keep talking about this, and we mentioned it in the podcast before, but I think where Decentraland is really going to make an impact on society is the sense that the stuff that you do in Decentraland also applies outside of Decentraland. Mm-hmm. Like you collect NFTs that are not just wearables in Decentraland, but the NFTs are valuable outside of Decentraland.
Yeah, say another metaverse, it can be it's interoperability, right? Like you something within Decentraland creates some kind of value, whatever it is.
And what Frankie was saying was essentially you have to be in Decentraland and you have to do some activity in Decentraland for a particular other game that has nothing to do with Decentraland.
Exactly.
Just so that the ecosystem supports each other, and that NFT that you've collected in Decentraland for that other game has an inherent value because there was work done, a proof of work, if you will.
Yeah, and I think Decentraland has like the biggest claim to, I guess, like kickstarting that whole movement, because just the land platform itself has so much value already like injected into it, because just the price alone. Like I equate.
Honestly, I think the price is starting to be, to me, one of the best situations for us, because it's like a high cost of entry, so you can't be in there on no bullshit. You can't be in there like I'm gonna put up a bunch of penises in my land. Like, you're not gonna do that.
That's someone's gonna do that though.
Maybe you will. But you spend $1,000 on that shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I agree. And then that's another.
I mean, I'm not saying $1,000 is mind blowing money, but it's like, you really spent that on dick pictures?
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I think the fact that it requires a certain amount of money, it removes the trolls from. Because a lot of stuff that happens, like the trolls, is because it's free. Like, you get trolls on Twitter, you get trolls on YouTube, and it doesn't cost anything to create an account and start trolling people.
True.
But in this case, it does. And that's why we like the graffiti wall a lot, and not to plug what we're doing, but the graffiti wall is like, you can put anything that you want on there, and if you don't like it, you take it down, but it's going to cost you 10 mana. Mm-hmm. And that prevents trolls from like continuously putting up, stupid stuff on the graffiti wall.
Yeah. For sure. But I guess
I know you guys wouldn't mind if they made you fucking rich with dick pics.
Yeah, dude.
Like, put them up. I don't care.
Yeah.
Spend the 10, man.
Yeah, we'll take advantage. Like, if you want to buy dick pics, we can make that happen.
That's District X's specialty, I guess.
Yeah.
See, that's another thing. That's what ever since I found out about this project, the district thing. We came in kind of late. Last time we came in 2018. We came in like halfway through 2019 or something like that.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
we missed a lot of the early day discussions when it came to like how these districts were formed and stuff. All we did was look at the map and we realized like 50% of the land is like these big blue squares owned by districts. I'm like, who is controlling these districts? Who's developing? What is the roadmap?
Have you checked in on the Discord on any of those?
Every now and
I do from time to time.
I do the same, but I don't see a whole lot of progress.
I only keep up with like Vegas City.
Yep.
What's that? Ether. What the hell?
Etheria.
Yeah.
I checked.
I know a couple of them are like shut down and given back, like smaller ones.
Some of them have like little in-house problems and stuff like that. Yeah. I know like Carl has the conference center area. He's setting that up pretty good, trying to like make like places you could rent to go do meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I still want to get back to the Wild West where all the Game Jam winners have their land over there.
Dude, I think you know what? The Wild West, that is a perfect example. One second, Frankie.
No, I know what it is, but my bad.
It's a perfect example of just an instance of people trying to work together to do something that ends up nothing happening because it's difficult to make a consensus on something.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think it was about to be the lull, after the
true.
game jam. So there was a lot of
Right.
like trying to figure out if it was worth it or not.
That's true.
So it was bad. It was just bad timing.
Because look, we talk about this all the time off the podcast as well.
Yeah.
Is that the reason why the game jam had a lot of action, had a lot of like people working on it, was because there's money at stake.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And if there's no money at stake in Decentraland, like it's very difficult for people to spend their time working on this stuff.
There's money at stake when it's you got to put a business model together. You can't
exactly
put a building, no game, and just bring money in. Like that's not how it works.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like you got to come with a business model. So if you don't have a business model, then you don't. I mean, you might as well buy and sell land.
Yeah,
you might as well buy and sell wearables. You're not doing nothing if you don't have a business model.
It's a good point because I mean, Frankie, you talked about it. Those tickets or that extra currency level would have been the tying aspect that for the business model. So, but that wasn't there at that time. So it kind of fell through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's always something you can change in the future. But it's just saying like you have to have a business model if you expect to get from the game. The game ain't gonna give to you. You know what I mean?
True.
Even if your business model is buying and selling, it just has to be something.
That's why we're really excited about the 20th, because we want to see like everything that we're working on and speculating on and predicting on. Are we right? Even if we make 100 mana, in a day. I mean that's proven the business model. Even if we make 10 mana, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like we want to see whether people like understand like what we're doing here and creating a game or a situation where people want to come back and play.
Yeah.
And we're
on the other side, like on the devil's advocate side of that, if they don't want to spend the money on your game, then you got to find a different way to get them to spend that money.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we can never know. We can never predict if we're not actually launched, right? So
you gotta think about it. It's just human psyche. So like you're like, all right, people don't like that, then they're gonna try this.
Yep. And the other point that we have, like in terms of data, that we think that this is going to work is because we have ETH crash. We have all these games where people are gambling money to win in a pot, and the same thing with pull together.
Yeah.
There's another thing too, is that I've been noticing a lot of games coming out, blockchain games, and I've been checking them all out for the most part, every one that I can. So I played that what's it called, Battle Frontier? It's like brand new on OpenSea. Apparently, it's kind of like an old game from like Nintendo or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. My friend knew about it that was in the party with me at the time. Yeah. And it's kind of like Axie, but it's like an old school, like kind of real video game,
Yeah.
And I went in there and I played it for a couple hours or whatever, and I just noticed like once gamers get involved with this, that will change everything too. Because gamers, they're more like they're more apt to understand the technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we use Xbox and we use all the newest technology. We're not that far off, the gaming community. And so like I feel like whatever game is going to be that kind of sets it off, will put people like, okay, I'm messing with this now,
Yeah.
That's gonna be really, really big for everybody. I saw that Age of Rust. Did I tell you guys about that game?
We were looking at it yesterday. It's like really impressive, like how he can do that. I don't even know how he has the resources to like make all that cool stuff on that game.
Yeah.
I think that's some sort of company situation, but regardless.
Which game again?
Yeah.
It's called
Age of Rust.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a Discord member, and we didn't even know he was in our Discord. But
he went in because he saw one of our interviews with Andreas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
But yeah,
but I saw his name. I was like, Age of Rust. Never heard of that. Started looking it up. Next thing you know, we're having a conversation.
Yeah. By the way, guys, like, I thanks for being in our Discord and like constantly interacting. You know what I mean? Like that's what we wanted to achieve from the get go. We as a podcast, we wanted to build like kind of like a community of like-minded people. We're all focused on the same thing. We can have like good discussions, right? And so
I think we've had some of the best discussions.
Yeah, I want more of that. I want more. Whoever's watching this, whenever this is up on YouTube, join the conversation, join the Discord, because the whole point of Decentraland it is community run. So we need like consensus on the vision of the future of this platform. So in order to do that, people got to start talking to each other.
Yeah,
it's like that's like the step one. Is how to get the community together, and it's up to, I guess, people like us who got to pick up the baton.
For me, You know, I felt like we can do this 100 times with 100 different people. There's a lot of different personalities and people doing things in Decentraland that need to be brought to the forefront. You know?
Yeah, we have plans to do this at least quarterly, like bring in more and more people every quarter to kind of like figure out like what's happening. You know, what are the problems? What is the future goals and vision? Like what do we need to work on? Stuff like that.
Yeah. So if we were to provide feedback to Decentraland and their developers, what would you guys like want to change? You know, from its current iteration, like in Decentraland.
I want to wait until after the launch before I even have those kind of opinions. You know.
Okay.
Like I would rather just wait until after the launch. Right now, I don't see it as very important for me to be airing out my grievances with a game that's not even finished. You know.
What about you, Corv?
Yeah, since I don't know, I run a business. It's a software as a service, so it's all about the users. So at this point, you know, right before launch, they need to focus on the user experience because, you know, a couple weeks ago you jump in and it's like wow, there's a lot of missing things still, just like a couple months before. But lately they've been updating those things. One of the important things that I see missing is like the teleportation and saving locations and like just having a favorites list of locations.
Again, though, I saw Tupac talking about that yesterday and saying that's on the roadmap.
Yeah, and it's expected. So as long as they have that,
just like
plus
a point and click, and then favorite location type situations.
Yeah,
like, you know, again, like, you know, when I hear them talking about that they've heard about, like when I text Tupac the other day about my name, and he was like, "I understand this going on, and we're working on it. As long as you guys know about it, I'm sure you know more than me." So I'm like, cool, you know, you got it.
Yep. Yeah, and the other missing feature is like friends list type of thing. So if you got some friends, you know, tie up with them.
That's gotta be coming.
And so as long as
like taking all of the best of every type of attractive online platform, whether and most of it is video games, right? So like your Xbox menu or like your I keep talking about Diablo, your Diablo inventory or your Minecraft inventory, and I know you have, you know, you click on your avatar and you kind of get like a pop-up, but expanding that to maybe that's your NFT wallet inventory, or maybe it's also your friends list and your locations, and packaging that somehow of combining all of these interfaces that everybody has been used to with gaming and your OpenSea wallet and, you know, Diablo, et cetera, Minecraft, everything that's familiar, and somehow organizing it into the world so that it's all in front of you, I think is going to be huge for just the average person to understand, like, what's going on here, guys? Like, what is this a wearable thing? What is this avatar? What can I do? What can I hold? Where can I go? Who can I talk to?
Yeah, exactly.
And like, how do I find my friend?
Those are a lot of the questions you see in the Discord from the new members, you know?
Yeah, and to me as a developer, those are way more important than all these little things that I'm requesting that they improve in the SDK and stuff like that. That's like secondary, you know. Primary is
that goes all back experience. To, if that's Corv talking, it goes back to what we were mentioning of who's going to control the update process and what gets priority, you know, in the future. That's going to be huge. Like, you know, as much as I want external images to be able to work 100% of the time, I think it might be more beneficial to have a central hub, you know, a really dedicated hub, personalization, whatever you want to call it, for every avatar. I think that is huge, right? But who, you know, I own land and I own mana. Where do I get a say in that? Exactly. I also develop. So it's like, does my vote count? Where does it count? Who's picking that vote? Who's managing that process? I think that's huge.
Yeah, and
another thing is I didn't really understand the vote about the mana to land ratio thing. It was really, I didn't really understand it, honestly.
I guess they're trying to figure out like how votes are going to be weighted. Yeah,
how to balance it, because if there's only 90,000 parcels in existence, and you know, is that worth more than X amount of mana? How much is one parcel worth in terms of like weight and vote?
Yeah, because of what the valuation of land is always fluctuating, right? So,
yeah,
I mean, my personal opinion, I think, is if you're going to have a vote on what's going to happen in the world, you need to be invested more than just the currency. And I get so it goes back to, you know, they're burning the mana, et cetera, but buying land and having a stake actually in the world, whether you're buying wearables, it's more than just mana to me, because you know, I think you need to have a vested interest if you're going to be voting or casting where the world goes.
I have to agree. I think if you have anything deployed on your land, that's because you put some effort into figuring out how to do it. And if you have anything,
and we got to remember that stuff costs money.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I might not have spent mana on developing my land, but the Lastraum don't work for free.
That's right.
Yeah, but I think even if you don't deploy anything on your land, it took mana to buy your land, and therefore you went one step further in your dedication.
You invested your mana. It's kind of like staking your mana
into the world. Anyone could go buy mana. I can go buy mana on the marketplace. That doesn't mean that I invested in what happens to DCL. I just want mana to go up or down or speculate or trade or whatever, right?
That's true.
I don't care what happens to the underlying NFTs in the world. So I personally think anyone who has mana should have no rights. They should have no voting rights. I think if you want to have voting rights, you have to either have, developed land, developers get land contributed to them through game jams and et cetera, wearables. I think you need to have some sort of tie to the world beyond a tradable currency that I can go to any other, I never have to go to DCL to own mana, and then I can vote on what happens. I just think that's very
yeah, you're right, because there could be whales that just dump in a whole bunch of money for a second,
and their interest could be just seeing the mana go up.
Well, I think it's a great exercise. I think if we had some spare time and people wanted to ether scan, find people who have a lot of mana and see if they own any land and correlate the two and see, how many people in the ratio of who owns this much mana and how many land they have, because are they actually going to, their vote's going to matter more than how much land they have. It'd be an interesting exercise.
Yeah, and also like competitors to DCL. I mean, it's not the only virtual world out there, and as decentralized as it is, it's still a business of some kind. So there's some interest for them to protect their assets, their creations, their virtual world. So if they got to prevent it that way, that's the best way to do it.
But also too, the value of mana is very tied to what happens in DCL. So if there aren't people buying land and there aren't people developing on land and there aren't things happening in the world, then owning mana is worthless. So it all ties back to land and deployment and development and what happens in the world. So whoever is a part of that, I think, should have a say and the only say in what happens to that world. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer.
That's why I brought the point up, because I didn't understand it completely, and I feel that way, So I didn't understand why we were talking about 5,000 mana would equal land. I'm like, you can't even buy land for 5,000 mana.
That's true.
Almost at no point since I've been involved could you buy land for 5,000 mana. So I'm like, I don't really understand why 5,000 mana or even 10,000 mana is the ticket, because unless mana is getting ready to do 10 flip,
Yeah. And on top of that, if you have a land in the corner of Decentraland, that's probably worth a lot less than one that's closer to the center.
That's actually not true.
That's not true. The corners are mad expensive.
Yeah, like the actual. There's only 4 corner plots, right? But those are super valuable. Apparently, speculative. Nobody knows why. I guess
again, to me that's super speculative.
There's only 4 of them, right?
The chances of you hitting that
neighbors.
corner is almost never.
Yeah. But I know what you're saying. I don't think you actually meant the actual corners.
No, not the actual corners. but you're right. I mean, we would argue that our parcel, our 2x2 parcel, is worth more than a parcel that has an empty land right next to the center of Decentraland. And so, but I mean, it's of course speculation.
Agree, but you know what? If I own 300,000 mana, I have more voting rights than your parcel.
That's true.
And you're going to be like, hey, wait a second. This guy just voted to go and these incremental updates to the SDK versus a wholesome HUD hub for the avatar, and now that sucks.
Yeah.
And I could care less, because I just whatever. That's my biggest thing is the mana whole mana currency, whatever.
So that vote already occurred for choosing?
That was a little while ago. I was not, and you had to spend mana on the vote, and that was the other thing I didn't understand. I didn't understand a lot about that.
So that's already set in stone then? The community already decided what to do, or is it still open for debate?
I feel like that's gonna be one that we re-vote on.
Okay, so it hasn't happened yet. We're still trying to figure that out.
It happened, it did. But it feels like
it's not
we would have to re-vote that one, because it felt weird. The whole thing felt weird about that, you know?
Yeah, very important decision, and the voting process to teach people how to vote, was on a very important issue. So it kind of, they should have started with some more basic issues to get people up and running before they kind of put out an important one like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're showing right now is, I don't know if you guys can see the screen, but this is just an example of, there's been a lot of improvements in Decentraland, and loading has been one of them. Because I remember in October, November timeframe, I stopped going to Decentraland because it wouldn't even load. And so now the reason why it's taking long is because I'm recording everything. But nonetheless.
Major improvement.
There's a lot of improvements, especially now with the settings that you can change. It's like if I have
change it down to basic.
Yeah, if I have it on basic, man, this thing just runs like butter.
Yeah.
But anything other than that, it's like it's not butter. So
it's not butter.
Yeah, we got another creation up.
Yes. So we have what's it called? A picture frame?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Yeah, you might be interested, Frankie, to get your opinions on it. But basically, you can just like the graffiti wall, you can customize it. You can actually get a picture frame, upload an image, and it'll be posted on. It'll be available on your land, and then it can flip through a couple sets of images. So you can have 3 images, and you can change the delay. So you can set it to delay 20 seconds. It changes to the next image. So
basically, if I had my house in Decentraland, I could put literally my whole family portrait on rotation in my own house.
Yeah,
exactly.
See, the thing that I don't understand is how to get this individual meta exactly where I want it. I do get it because we're using Metazone to do that.
Yeah,
but
using Metazone.
Yeah, you have to, right?
Little editor.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have to
manually
build this into your
code,
meta.
to the code.
Yeah, we'll make it easier and easier as time goes on. It just depends on how much time we're going to devote based on, how successful DCL is at promoting their virtual world. But the cool thing is that you can stretch this image out to whatever. So you got that big graffiti wall. You can have all these large images around it.
I was thinking, I don't know if a lot of people understand what this tower is for. And so I was thinking, on the very top floor, we can put a large version of this picture frame, and we just rotate a picture that says "Earn mana here." That way, people can see from far away.
You could do that. You could also rotate gameplay pics and show people what to do.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that's
a good point.
We've been getting
a lot. Guys, Corv, have you thought of if I buy this picture frame, if I have a second tab open and I update the position, how quickly does that update? Because it's all piped through from a system update, right? So it moves pretty quickly.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, so what if we work on, and this is kind of what you want to see DCL and helping people adopt, almost a remote UI interface if you have meta, right? If you have meta on your land, and then when you click on that certain meta, the remote will be in the bottom right or wherever, and you can literally arrow position whatever you had just recently clicked on, and that will still hit the API as if you were in the other browser and pinging that move system so that it will update.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I want it to be. When I think of Decentraland, I think of The Sims. It should be as seamless as building out a Sims experience.
Right. I mean, that's what I want. That's why I want the store, the MetaMart, because that whole adoption thing, getting people to stay within the world, whether it's uploading this picture instead of going to your tab to a different tab, just be able to do it in the world, or to want to position this in the world, not have a different tab and go back and forth and reposition, to just go to their land and say, oh shit, I want to move this picture frame up to the second floor. Let's just click it and move it up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually asked DCL, I think it was Nico, if they're ever going to update the HUD interface, because it's really ugly to work with. I'm sure you've been feeling that pain. And I asked him, when is CSS, HTML going to be a part of that capability? He said, yeah, that's a part of the roadmap. But so hopefully that'll be coming as
everything's a part of the roadmap.
It is.
World domination. Oh yeah, that's on the roadmap. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're taking over. Don't worry.
No, but I mean, Corv, seriously, I I got a lot of stuff I'm working on, but would love to try to put some stuff together with you on that. Just, again, we're building these things, and maybe in a year or 2 years, it'll be completely different, obsolete, taken by DCL. DCL says they're going to make their own marketplace. So they didn't want to support our marketplace. Well, so what? Let's make our own and see how they can evolve through the SDK. And I think that'd be huge. I think that'd be a huge proposition for people to have a marketplace, somewhere to go to buy things. But then when you buy them, you can actually touch and feel them in real time in the world and move them. I think that'd be huge. Carl Fravel, he made a builder HUD for local builder stuff. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, for his DCL university courses. And it was all local, right? It wasn't pinging to a back end.
Yeah,
exactly. See these arrows? Make this UI pop up once you click on a meta. If you have it, if your land, the code will detect if you have meta. It will load all of this in, so that when you click on a meta, it'll give you the option to maybe click E or the right click it, and then it pops up this little remote UI, if you will. And then maybe that will get the DCL team to be like, oh man, these guys are really close. Maybe we need to put this up a priority on the pipeline, or who knows.
Yeah, I'm not playing the music to quiet you down, Lastraum. It's just
I didn't even hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it?
Yeah, it just came in.
Okay. What happened is
he had his own theme song. That was pretty awesome, actually. Like a theme song popped up for Lastraum.
Oh, what happened was so the game loaded, right? And so I have like a central audio control on this like hardware in front of me. And so the only way we can hear you guys is if I have this up, but it also, the audio from the game is also being piped in.
Nice.
And
so
it'll once it finishes loading, it'll turn off.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's off right now. But yeah, Lastraum. So I was talking to Iman and Will here that this picture frame kind of I realized your MetaMart kind of idea where there's a wall of pictures of all these metas. So now with this picture frame here, like it's going to be so easy to make the MetaMart. And then I was imagining all these walls. You click on one of the metas and it just appears behind you, kind of like on the top floor of a meta zone. That it's so much space up there. You click on an image and the little meta pops up behind you. So yeah, it's all the pieces are in place. So now we just need to put that final, cohesion together, and it would be a pretty badass experience.
It would be awesome.
See
Absolutely.
I see. Just hearing you two guys like brainstorming like this. This is the whole reason we want to do stuff like this. Like
exactly.
You guys are already coming up with what I think is like epochal changes for the platform.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Just like offhand conversations.
Yeah, that's the idea. Is like facilitate these types of conversations. I mean, it's easier than just us talking in the Discord. We can only text at such a rate per minute, right? Like fingers can only operate so quickly. But whenever we actually have a real discussion, like things like this is whenever magic is made. I feel like, for lack of a better term. I mean,
I definitely feel that same way.
So I mean, definitely. I hope to see you guys working together for sure. Because man, this is how things are gonna improve.
Yeah, and internally we're like, since mana is going up, like we're trying to figure out how is it that we're going to structure any kind of like
incentive to continue working together.
Yeah, payouts. Like now we gotta figure out when we're gonna divvy up the mana in terms of MetaZone, and then in terms of additional creators that are helping us out. We want to make the incentives aligned as well. So the next phases are like working on smart contracts. So we're all kind of on the same page about how every contribution is compensated, and because it's all digital payments, like all this 10 mana that you spend to play a game, like all of that can be easily automatically divvied up, awarded to each public address.
Have you guys
worked with
multi-sig wallets at all?
Ask one more time, Lastraum.
Has anybody worked with like a multi-sig wallet?
Oh, no, but we can. I mean, we're aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've toyed around with the idea of creating team contracts, and so for projects like this where you all get on board, and everybody, agrees to their percentage
Okay.
of share, and then you submit the contract as the point of payment, and then the contract handles all of the divvying by itself. So basically creating a service that or contracts that people, a platform, can go to and say, hey, 3 of us are teaming up, MetaZone plus Lastraum or add KJ. We're all going to go in. We'll all submit, what our percentage is. Everybody agrees to it, sees it in like a DApp interface, and then have a dashboard of basically all of your team contracts that you're getting payouts from, wherever that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
perfect example. Game Jam. Game Jam. It was me, KJ, Nemo, and somebody else, and we got land and we got mana. So how do we divvy that up? Who worked more? We never, kind of just still trusting in each other in Discord. KJ's never heard who I am or even seen who I am. No one has. Like, how do we divvy this up fairly and trustworthy, right?
Yep.
I think having that would be huge.
Yeah, that's definitely something that needs to, because even whenever you create a creation and you upload it into MetaZone and it's a meta now, that all those creators that contributed to that need to be compensated in some format. But also, like, the landowner might have a couple people that he's got shared land with, so there could be a couple wallets involved for the 50% of the 10 mana that people pay. So having that customization inside of MetaZone might be super valuable, but it's got to deploy to a contract, so people, all the mana goes directly to that contract. That way, there's no discrepancies, there's no questions what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just automated. Every time a meta is created and you guys come to agreement on the split, that is put into a contract, and a new contract gets created, and your address, Meta's address, and the developer's address, if there's a landowner's address, it all gets in there, and it's binding.
Yeah,
we totally agree. I mean, that's what we want to do, because like we talk about is, this is sort of like a business, and we can't do everything ourselves. And so we need to figure out some sort of like mechanism where we can just deploy people to help us work on stuff without having them to trust us that we're going to compensate them or whatever, Yeah, and this is the best way.
We need to figure out. I was mentioning in one of your channels too, is scraping people's scenes. Instead of having them upload it, right, to be able to pull down their scene code so that you guys can incorporate. And hopefully, as Corv and I mentioned, the automated process of inserting the code at certain lines and then redeploying it automatically, so that you wouldn't have to do a lot of the manual stuff that Corv or whoever has to do right now.
Yeah, some interesting news about that. Decentraland made some updates to the deployment process, and I realized those updates and made some modifications to the MetaZone base code. So now it's stupid easy to deploy something new on somebody else's land, because all you have to do is change the scene.json file. So it's a massive decrease in workload to deploy. Now I don't have to remove files because there's a file cap limit, file size limit. There is no limit anymore. All of it gets deployed into the same server host, and now so now deployment is even easier. So we can make that happen with less.
Well, good.
Less
Yeah, like I said, I was working on, and I hate that we're hijacking the topic, but just 30 seconds. Working on the upload to S3 to Amazon EC2 automatic deployment to a piece of land. I mean, that integration was unit tested, where it wasn't seamless, but I would upload something to S3, which was basically the entire scene file or directory. And then on EC2, I would point to that S3 bucket and scrape it, find the line, and insert a little text shape, on an entity, and then deploy it.
Nice.
Yeah. And it worked.
Yeah, so now whenever somebody uploads their meta, all they're doing is uploading one folder with all the files, and they're done. So there's a little piece of code that gets added to the main game.ts file, and then that's it. So it's ready to go, and all the huge bulk load, every single meta is hosted on that person's land. So as soon as they buy something new, it'll show up. So it's gonna be Yeah.
Hey, Oscar,
we'll have to connect on it for sure.
Yep.
we're gonna try something. So obviously the game is not playable. So I'm gonna send you a link to this discussion, and then you can share your screen onto this feed.
Yeah, that's
all
a good
you
idea.
have to do is just turn off the audio so that
Okay.
you don't have like.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Might be better.
Hey, Will, I'm I'm going to the meet. What do you call this thing?
Oh, do you want to share your screen, Frankie?
Share my screen. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, that might be easier.
Yeah, that might be easier.
Let me.
So this is the play test you're about to get into?
Yeah,
hop in and then we'll watch what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I got you. There we go.
Okay, and for anybody who's not aware, who's watching this, yeah, I guess break it down. I guess incrementally, Decentraland has these play tests, right? Because we're still in closed beta phase.
Yeah, usually the play tests are Friday, but lately for the last month or so, it's been every day.
Exactly, because I mean it's crunch time now. They only got 6 or 7 days left, so now is the time to squeak out the polishing.
So I just logged in here a second ago, and it basically crashed me out of here, and there was nothing in the chest. But I'm gonna go back for another try.
Yeah, past 2 days, it's been taking a little bit longer than usual to load up.
I just think that they're doing so much right now. Like that thing I just saw you pull up. I don't even know how you pulled that up. The emote.
That passport thing?
Nah, the emote thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You just press B, and then the little scroll wheel will show you all the options.
Oh, that's what that is.
All right. But yeah, they just added that. It looks like I have my wearables back, so that's good.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, I'm video game culture today. You drop a game that's not even halfway finished.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
what it is. So I'm not even surprised.
I think that a lot of that's Steam is to blame for that. I guess the whole indie.
When I first started playing PUBG, the whole fucking shit wouldn't load.
Yeah.
You jump out the airplane, you land, the whole house ain't even built yet. You're stuck in a wall.
Yeah.
That was a expensive game.
That's why I'm not too worried about how the current iteration of Decentraland is, because Corv told me he was involved in very beginning of Minecraft. He actually knew the guy who made Minecraft. So, and he tells me that back then it was a doo-doo version of what it is today.
Well, that's what William says.
Well, that's what I say.
That's right. Somebody said that. I don't know.
He's looking at me play this 2D box game. He's like, "What the hell are you doing with your life?"
Yeah.
He's like, dude, now that guy's a multi-billionaire, right?
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah, he sold it for 1.8 billion or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could have easily been BTC or
First of all, I just want to flex on the outfit real quick.
Yeah, look at that.
Damn,
There's only 10 of those people. So what Frankie's doing, we're watching his screen right now, and he has this wearable where his torso is a complete skeleton.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
And more importantly, they're NFTs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why I thought this one was so valuable was it's the only one that changes your complete appearance.
Yeah.
It's not a shirt.
Yeah,
for sure.
You're actually spot on in that speculation, man. You're a whole different character now. You can go around spooking kids and stuff with that.
And only me, Maddie, and 2 other guys can do that because Maddie bought everything.
Yeah, see, we want to shoot a promo video for our Block Runner Tower, and I wanted us to be decked out in these cyber outfits, but Maddie owns all of them.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the problem. So either Maddie has to get on board and dance for us or something, put on a show, or we're just not gonna look cool. That's the problem.
Hey, there's gonna be some new wearables that come out, and honestly, I thought I'd be getting one now out of this chest right here, but apparently it says their servers are having an issue. So I'm just gonna walk around and say hi to everybody.
Yeah, that's if this happens on what is it, next Thursday? Is the launch the 20th?
I mean, it's coming up, dude.
Yeah,
next week for sure.
If this happens next Thursday, they're gonna receive a lot of fire.
What are you talking about?
Just these glitches. For example, every time we went to go find NFTs, remember?
Yeah.
There was always something wrong.
Yeah.
And
that was a couple hundred people at most.
Yeah.
That graveyard event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most people I've seen is when the NFTs come out.
For sure. Like you said, there's something at stake, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. Hopefully, it's not one giant lag fest. I mean,
it's the homie Zero Cool right here.
So how's the experience for you, Frankie? Is it smooth for you, or is it still choppy?
Fairly smooth. My computer is pretty beastly, so even for my computer, this is not the most awesome, but
Yeah.
What are your settings at right now?
I put them to medium this time.
Okay.
I felt like basic was just ugly.
Mm-hmm. Oh look, there's Kobe. He's alive.
Dude, I tried to get that name. I knew it would be gone.
And that was another thing I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out how to get multiple names, so I just quit on that.
You had to switch your address, and then you can buy more.
Yeah, multiple wallets, basically.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
It's a hassle.
Look at this. Oh, dude had the LED outfit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, man, I was going to go check it out.
Oh, I missed it.
That either was Maddie or something. Like, not that many people have the LED one. There's not even that many of those. Like, there's 10, but there's only like so many minted, like 3.
So this is a plaza you guys are at.
How did they get a hold of them? Were they just dropped into the market? Like,
so originally, and I don't know. So now there's some questions I have, and I can actually show you guys in a minute. But originally they were given out during the playtest, right?
Okay,
cool. Then, like, you know, a lot of them weren't all the way minted because everybody didn't get into the playtest. Like in the Christmas playtest, I couldn't get anything done. I couldn't do any. It was too crowded, and the playtest kept crashing, so I just left.
Yeah, same.
And so I didn't get many things out of that one, and so I think that a lot of people had that same issue. And for that, you probably had less of those things being minted. So now you have the situation with the Christmas wearables where there's some still out there, and how they're going to be minted. That's another thing. How these things are minted. And so I have a question. We have the exclusive masks. Now let me just flip over. This is my world right here.
OpenSea.
Yeah.
Do you imagine if OpenSea didn't exist?
See, we need the marketplace. You need to go.
Oh yeah, and we were talking
world.
about that the other day. Like, man, I don't want to be paying 7.5% everything I buy from OpenSea. You know, it's just a situation right now. You know, but
yeah, and it's arbitrary. They just set it at a random 7%. There's no reason for it.
Yeah, exactly. So all right, so they came out with these masks first, right? You guys remember this playtest? The first playtest?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, those masks,
black and white masks.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they came out with these masks first, right? So each of these masks should be 100, but for some of them, there's only a few of them. Like the theater mask that I have, where there's, I believe, 5 total. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I can search it. Let me cut Decentraland off. I know that's slowing me down. So there's 5 total of these, and that's why mine is at 1,500 mana, 15,000 mana. If they're gonna mint any more of these, so you know it's real speculation. You know what I mean? But what I did see recently was during the same series, the mass series, there was 3 last week.
Oh, there's
and
a clown nose?
This one was born recently, and I don't understand how that's a thing. So I've been watching this stuff real closely, obviously, to know that. But it's something I've been keeping my eye on as far as like rarity, and that's why I started getting into the 1 of 10s, because there's at least a straight up, like there's 1 of 10. You know.
Hey, Lastraum, quick question. Do you know the process to being able to create these wearables in the sense that you have to be accepted by the DAO?
Yeah.
Like, do you know that process?
They're just starting it.
For Decentraland?
Yeah.
Yeah. Toonpunk said he's going to start something after the launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just not even ready yet.
So every wearable right now has been created by Decentraland.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess that's why they had the contest recently, so they can get some external designs up.
Yeah. What they're gonna do is like give you 30% of the NFTs. I don't know how many they'll mint, but
they're saying it's going to be a legendary and
a
legendary and a mythic. So it's like if it's a mythic, you get 3. If it's a legendary, you get 30. And that's
So you submit like a design as an NFT wearable creator, and then the DAO determines like the minting properties or something. Like,
I think they know. I think they're going to vote on designers.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Really?
Too.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a closed ecosystem then. Like you have to be approved, and then like you're gonna have
because we don't want to be flooding the market with NFTs, with wearables. You know what I mean? Like if you look at crypto voxels, they've got a gang of wearables worth nothing.
You know? I see.
Yeah, but again, like who's gonna be voting on who gets approved or not?
There's the other thing, and Strom, I think you're making a huge point right here with the land to mana thing, because at this point when you talk about wearables, right? And who, all that's going to affect, it affects mana holders, but like it really affects us, the people who are building the things, and because it's what's drawing the attention to the world, you know, and you know, I don't know, it's a little bit of a balance. I don't 100%. I'm like talking myself out of it right now.
Well, I mean, I personally don't agree with the Apple ecosystem at all. I think if you're having a world with the word decentralized in it, and you're creating these DAOs to govern what is allowed, I think outside of you know, not suitable for work and adult content, I think it should be anybody can create whatever kind of content as great or as terrible as it is, and the marketplace will whittle that out.
I 100% agree. Free market economics, right? Like the market will determine what has value and doesn't. You don't have to police that and like pick the winners and losers of the system. It's up to the people to.
So you're saying your ideal NFT creation process would be anybody creating any NFT, and the market will decide what is valuable and what isn't.
Yeah, either it's valued based on the scarcity elements that these NFT creators are caking into them, or maybe there's, like we've been talking about, some proof of work behind these NFTs, like you actually have to earn them.
So the side effect to this is like Frankie's torso, like Bones' torso. Yeah. Somebody can straight copy that, and it's just going to be just a different type of NFT.
Literally. And not like copy it like a little bit. They can go get the code and get it.
Yeah, but it's okay because people might think, okay, it's obviously a copycat because it wasn't the original, so I'm not going to buy that. There's no value to this copycat. I'm going to buy the one that was the original, just like art.
Yeah,
you know,
somebody could just be wearing it, and then it just like the whole place has skeletons all over it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you want to be the unique guy looking like a skeleton. Yeah. But now everybody looks like a skeleton because there's copies.
So there should be a voter like approval process. Like, hey, here's another skeleton on the voting list.
But no, what we're saying is if there was a situation where you can just make anything, then you would just be able to literally go find the code for the whole skeleton on GitHub, and then I've seen it already, and you can just literally just paste it.
You know? But I think it's okay because like people are are paying $1,000 for a Gucci bag. But there's still thousands of people walking around with fake Gucci bags.
Go to New York and Chinatown, and you'll get it for $100.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, you get these copycats,
That's
right?
That's true.
That's the way it is. But people are still going to pay $1,000.
You think bootlegging is going to be a thing?
Oh yeah. If we leave it to like,
I'm gonna start now. That's what I'm starting making skeletons.
Just mass produce these skeletons, dude.
As soon as I get off the stream, I'm going into skeleton talking about bootleg business.
I mean, I think that's okay. Like you leave the market to determine these value outcomes, right? That's the way it should work, I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I see the concern. Like
concern.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I think it's a big turnoff to people like myself that I can create some pretty cool wearables, but I'm not going to get approved because why? Because somebody says I can't, but I have really cool stuff I want to create. Frankie he wants to create jewelry. He's not going to get approved. I'm just being devil's advocate.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that sucks for him. What if he wanted to create, his wearables for himself? Yeah. I can't create. And again, forget the whole adult maturity content. I just want to create a badass skull ring or something. And I can't do that because a group of voters that have been selected by something says no.
Yeah, they have like a monopoly on creation. That's messed up.
And I think that we're going to have some battles ahead of us too, Lastraum, about things like this.
It reminds me of another topic that we've discussed internally about the creator contests, the different contests that DCL puts out. Yeah. Because recently they've been pushing like replayable content, and if they really wanted to do that, then they could have easily some kind of play. Everybody creates their content, and then they have a button that DCL created that tracks how many plays happened. So if you got the most gameplays, then you should win the contest.
Yeah, if the point of the contest is to create a replayable experience, then the metric is how many times did people play it, and that's the winner.
Yeah, and that's trackable.
Right. Well, you're not talking about the builder contest. You're talking about the game jam, yeah?
Yeah, the game jam.
But the problem with the game jam was you were able to make scenes that were not going to be on the land.
Yeah,
that was another issue I have with it. People were building these massive experiences that have like zero. They'll never be implemented because of the land restriction. So I thought that was kind of messed up.
I mean, there's a reason why the stuff that we create is for a single parcel for the most part, right? Pack Runner is like 2 parcels or 2x2, but there's a reason why we're focused on a single parcel, because that's
probably the most likely ownership.
Likely, yes.
Most people are going to own single, maybe 2x2s, but like these giant estates are in the hands of like a few. Yeah. So I think it's important, and like things like the Infinity engine we just found out about is definitely like helping.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, they had a little trailer teaser video of like a train game or something.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like pretty cool. That looks pretty cool.
I mean, that brings a whole new level of value to single parcel owners.
Oscar, did you see the Infinity engine?
No, I don't think I've seen it. No.
You probably heard us talking about it.
I heard you guys talking about it.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
So basically, some guy created an engine where he moves the world.
It's like a treadmill,
and keeps
right?
you. It's like a treadmill.
Yeah.
And it keeps you like stationary.
I played it in the game jam.
Oh, you played it?
Yeah, it's like if you've ever gone, and DCL just bombed out, by the way. I just had a huge error going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back in here right now.
So basically, if you've ever been in a mall or something, and you see those almost spaceship virtual simulators that you sit in and it moves, that's what you would do, and you would sit in it, and you could see yourself on the map not moving.
Yeah.
But like the whole scene around you was moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. It was really interesting. It was a cool concept.
So Oscar, I wanted to ask you. So this thing can be deployed. Let's say, assume they could be deployed on a 1x1, right? You deploy this, and now you can create Doom. You can literally recreate Doom in a single parcel by moving the world around you. Mm-hmm. So, in your opinion, like how is that really possible in the sense that you can? You're basically playing a game from a server.
Yeah, you're playing a game inside of a game.
Yeah.
But
I think with that though, I mean, there's only 2 buttons you can click on and 2 clicks. You know, so I think the inputs need to expand massively for anything beyond, a point and click outside. I mean, you can't play Doom with just WASD and your mouse. You got to have an inventory. So there's a whole additional input kind of
limitation
roadmap that needs to occur for anything material in terms of a game to be accomplished.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's funny. So this playtest, it said, go find the chest, and like you spawn, and it's right in front of
you. Well, if Frankie goes up this left side, which I try to do, go into the forest up the left side, and then you'll see like there's like a cave, and I was trying to go up the steps around the top of the cave. And I bombed out. Yeah,
I just bombed out a minute ago too, so I don't know if it was necessarily the area you were in, or if it was just like.
Yeah, it looks really smooth on Oscar's computer.
Yeah, Oscar's playing right next to us, and like it's buttery smooth.
This is where
I'm starting to run now. Yeah, I'm starting to run really smooth as compared to before when I just crashed out.
Yeah, and I'm running on basic settings, so
I'm on medium, but
it was real smooth for me until it wasn't.
Yeah.
This is why we do these tests, I guess. Yeah.
The reason why we're talking about smoothness is because right now the feed is like choppy.
Yeah.
And we just want to reiterate that it's not that experience.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely smooth.
Yeah.
And these chests are going to be used during the launch event. I guess it's a 4-day event, correct? Like that, a treasure hunt is what they announced.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's going to span a bunch of parcels, so a bunch of creators.
A lot of people with their names. I'm just wondering why I don't have mine.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes mine shows up and it doesn't.
And one thing
I go to the DCL, like the avatar page, I'm good. Like I'll drop in as FrankyNeedles, but right now I have my outfit, which is good. I haven't had my outfit today.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, hey, you guys, I just thought of something.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the nodes, the DCL nodes?
A little bit, but tell us more.
So there's going to be 10 nodes.
Oh, right. Like
and I've been working with Baus Games on this for Blackjack. Yeah. So syncing multiplayer experiences, they won't be across. Like if I'm on node 1 and you guys are on node 5, you won't be in the same. You won't be on the same server.
You know what, Lastraum? When we were first like trying to imagine this game world back in June, we had that same conversation and understanding like
I'm here. I don't know what happened.
We're probably gonna have different experiences because we're gonna be in different servers.
Yeah, and we also designed our mini games around that that lack of multiplayer ability. You know, like the block hole game we just released would be way more fun if you could play like with other people and compete against like who's last man standing basically in like a single round. Instead, we had to design it around like your own individual experience.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So if you're telling me that multiplayer is coming, then shit.
Oh shit, we just lost the connection.
To who? To all of them?
Yeah, to all of them.
Oh no, dude.
Well, to correct what you're thinking,
It's still recording though, right?
It's still recording.
Okay.
Iman.
Yeah.
Because we're still recording. It's not that. He's talking about the fact that there's so many players. You can't have all of them on one server, so they have to divide them up, and they're calling it nodes.
Yeah.
So there'll be different nodes. So you'll be like 100 in this one, 1,000 in this one, 800 in this one. And we're in the same room, but we might be on 3 different nodes. So
so we can't pick and choose which node.
So the question would be to him will be like, are we able to jump to a specific node? I think once you're on a friends list, it'll put you in the same node.
Like let's say all 3 of us, me and Will have experienced this before. Like we at the graveyard event, we tried to hop in together, but we were like standing in the same spot, but we didn't see each other.
Yeah.
So we were in separate nodes essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
And and we didn't know that. Until they talked about it.
I tried like refreshing over and over and over again until we got into the same node. I think we actually got to there at one point, but it took a lot of like refresh attempts.
Yeah. So it's a necessary evil. To have that many people.
Because imagine 10,000 people. When this gate's open, they're all gonna like plop into the same center plaza. Dude, that thing's gonna explode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And what I'm wondering, I thought he was going to say something like other people can host these nodes.
Yeah, me too.
Instead of so it's more decentralized.
Maybe like some kind of like incentive mechanism, like you earn mana, but you have to like run the hardware costs or something like that.
Yeah,
like a Bitcoin mining pool essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like the nodes are mining by providing all this interaction.
Yeah, so you have to like be voted in by the DAO. Like I have all this hardware capability. Like I want to be a node runner.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to solve the problem of the decentralization.
Yeah,
like
100%.
we could buy our own server and host a node if we wanted to blow money.
Yeah, but
if you're
it's
mining,
an investment, right?
It's an investment, right?
Yeah, so you're gonna make some returns. Then hopefully, like you earning mana by hosting these nodes, and then the price of mana goes up just like Bitcoin does, and
makes it more worth it. More nodes
That's
spawn up because now it's more worth it.
So if Decentraland is hosting all these nodes, then it is kind of like hopefully they're not all in the same spot, because that's
true.
You want them to be spread out, maybe like one in a different country,
right?
Like one in South America, one in America or North America, one in Europe, stuff like that.
But overall it's good news.
Yeah, but I guess
because they are progressing towards more decentralization.
They have to. Is the internet down?
I think the internet's down. That's why it cut off. Can you check?
Yeah, let me check.
Damn, that's unfortunate. No, technical difficulties.
Oh, you have a connection.
Yeah. Oh, give me the link so I can. Well, I could jump in. You won't be recording.
Yeah, we won't be able to hear anything. I don't think.
Yeah, because I'm not connected to anything of this. But if I just use your audio, like.
No, what are you trying to do?
Like if you listen to this computer somehow.
I mean, we don't need sound on that computer.
Yeah. Well, if he wants to host like the
meeting
conversation again, on his computer.
Oh,
you wouldn't have their voices on.
No, I wouldn't. It has to be on this.
But how are you doing? How is this recording? Like it's a specific link.
USB.
Oh, okay. And it's not like you plug and play type thing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No.
How many? I mean, we got like an hour and a half. If we get them back, we could just have like some closing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close this out, and then.
Yeah, we're about to get this back on. There we go. Hey guys, we're back.
All right.
Sorry, I'm not sure what happened. We just lost the internet connection, and I don't know.
Our bad.
DCL really bombed out on you.
Yeah. It's funny. Every time we try to get one more person on the internet on the podcast, like we always have like these,
like some kind of event. It's never like perfect.
Yeah,
never. But hopefully, our production value goes up pretty soon.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So let me Switch.
So whose screen are we? Is it? Oh yeah, this is Frankie. You're running through.
Yeah, here we go.
All kinds of stuff.
He's exploring.
Yeah. So this is insider access, boys and girls.
Yeah.
You got to be white.
I got lost though. I'm looking for like that treasure chest again. I'm just lost.
So Lastraum, since you know a little bit more about the node situation, I kind of updated Iman that these are nodes where 100 people are on one node, 200 people are on another node. So if we're 3 people in the same room, we might be on different nodes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then
then there should be a way to link up with your friends and get on the same node, no?
Yeah, there should be.
Yeah,
because like I said,
right. But I haven't again heard anything in the air quotes roadmap. Like Boss Games, whoever mentioned it to me because we're doing blackjack together, and hosting blackjack. If you're playing,
you have to be on the same instance.
So there's going to be no one standing next to you, but the cards are going to be flipping.
Yeah,
it'd just be a weird experience.
So, and then the other question is, can other companies or other people host these nodes? And
so Baus he says.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Hosting his own node.
Nice.
So what's his incentive? Like, does he get a mana kickback for hosting the hardware to run these nodes, or what?
Kind of like mining?
I don't know exactly what he means by like what he's hosting and all of that, because it was new to me about a week and a half ago. So I don't know outside of user experience what he achieves by hosting a node.
Yeah. Because I assume there's obviously a capital investment in that. He has to,
host servers.
That's not free. So I mean,
they raise a lot of money through their parcel sales.
I saw that on OpenSea. They got busy.
So it's probably like he has his incentive is in order for his business to run, he needs to do something, or other people. I guess the hope is like other businesses pick up that same baton and start hosting their own servers.
Yeah.
And I guess it's good.
We're hoping to have, a lot of gameplay in the casino space. So, seamless experiences is paramount. And, if you want to have multiplayer blackjack, you can easily just have it where you walk up to a table and play by yourself. But if you want to make it, multiplayer and the experience, you've got to all be on the same node, it sounds like. So I think whatever investment that is, the return will be through the gameplay and
So in the casino for blackjack, do you pull up some kind of interface for people to interact with, or is it literally on the table?
It's on the table. So KJ Walker and I, we've made little like computer touch screens that have all of the clickable inputs.
Okay.
And next to on the table is where your cards are dealt. So you walk up to the table, there'll be like a little touch screen. It says, welcome to blackjack, click play, you join a table, and then all of your chip selection, button pressing, hit stand is all done there. And the cards interact in front of you as well.
Interesting.
Awesome.
So then the people next to you, when you're playing, you'll see them. And if they're, again, apparently on the same node, you'll see cards dealt to them.
Sure,
and
sure.
How their cards come out, whatever.
Yeah, Decentraland just bottomed out. That's another thing that I'm afraid of.
Lastraum, you're American, right?
I am.
Yeah, have you thought about any legal implications for these kind of gambling experiences? Like, have you?
Yeah, so what we're doing, Baus Games has already gone through all the KYC and legalization of his gambling stuff.
Yeah.
And he's invested a lot of money in it, his company or whoever's behind him. And so what we're doing is I am developing the code base. And then again, with that kind of smart contract, when let's say a table has $1,000 to start, right? And that's a starting at every 24 hours it resets, his company is going to flood the, fund basically the casino. And so my code base, I'll just get paid based on a pro rata share of how much the table makes over a 24-hour period.
As the creator, or as just like there's one table, so this one's my table.
So I've made it where he can have as many tables as he wants.
Okay. So as a creator, basically.
And so I'll get a share off of all those tables.
Nice.
Oh, interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so I don't have to worry about it necessarily because I'm under his envelope of code base, and he's already gone through that process. So it's all behind the Decentral Games wall, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, essentially you're just getting paid for the coding work that you put behind it. and then
Right.
the umbrella company, I'm assuming they're based maybe like in the Caymans or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Who knows?
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's actually based. I don't want to give too much. I mean, it's not like he's secret. He's in London.
Okay. Yeah. So as long as you're not in America, you're good. There's so much restrictions nowadays.
The entity.
Yeah.
Do you, Lastraum, I'm not sure if you know, but do you know about all the like American restrictions? Like you know, you're in California, right?
Oh God, say that again.
Are you in California?
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me move away from this chest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Damn.
Hey, that big box, Frankie. I think that's where the Teslas are.
Oh, it's a Tesla spot. Yeah. It's my Tesla truck. Actually, that one's Will's.
Yeah, that's mine. You can't scratch it. So.
This one right here, the fresh one, that's me. It's a little big. It's a little big.
Dude, it's fucking huge. It's
driving it right now.
Look at that.
Rolling in this bitch.
Okay, yeah. We're just diddling with trucks right now.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I know who made that. I don't know if he wants me to tell everybody who made it, but I know who made it.
Is it gonna be more?
I don't know, but the reason why he made that is because there's a guy named Elon in Decentraland, and he wanted to take a picture of Elon with the Cybertrucks.
Most ridiculous shit I ever heard.
Yeah,
that's funny as
but I don't know who Elon is, but I've seen him around.
That's pretty cool.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, who's asking me a question? I forget about being American.
It was me, Will. I was asking where you are just because we're trying to raise money ourselves in like several ways, right? The traditional way, and then there's the blockchain way. Oh shit, that's cool, man.
See, I'll show you what the problem with this is, though.
And so if we do it the blockchain way, where we are doing a NFT sale. I think from what I understand in the United States, so you don't have any animations with that thing. So I think the situation is, as long as you're not raising money from Americans, then you can raise as much as you want. Would that be correct, Lastraum?
You were talking about NFTs, so you're saying, can you sell NFTs and still be acceptable if you use that money for something like gambling?
Well, so this is a question outside of gambling. This is more of like general raising of funds as an American company. That's really the question. That's where the question comes from.
Well, I think if again, it's all about if it's a security, right? So an NFT,
that's definitely not a security.
Question if it's a security or not, because it's unique in itself. Right.
Yeah.
And that creates its own value. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, on the surface, I would say no, that's not.
I have to agree. I have to agree.
And I think if you have a ERC20 token and you're selling 100,000 of them, which I've wanted to do for my personal, I have a short-term rental platform, and so I've raised money and say, hey guys, look, you'll get 100. Here's 100,000 tokens. Flood the market. Whoever owns them gets a share of the revenue of the short-term rentals, plus stays based on how many coins you have.
Sure.
I think that is a security.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you guys want to create, block runner NFTs that are T-shirts, hats, whatever, and people buy them, and then that money goes for something else, I don't think you have to register.
That's exactly what I thought. Even if that means that we can sell our NFTs to Americans because they're not securities.
Yeah, they're basically digital goods.
Yeah,
they're digital goods. You'll have to report it, everyone, on their taxes.
That's right.
You won't have to register with FINRA or the SEC or anything like that.
Yeah.
See, yeah. It's just I'm not experienced enough to just go head forth on something like this. But I think this is a good time to take a risk, just because. It's new and
there's not a lot of regulatory guidelines out there.
I would love to create some NFT wearables. Maybe, who knows, I create the most badass, wearables, outfits, costumes that are super rare because I only create 5 of them and they're badass. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to get approved by this nebulous approval committee that lets me on board as a wearable designer.
Yeah.
Right? That's totally unfair.
I agree, man.
No, I totally agree with that for sure.
Because you know what? Maybe I'm doing that to raise money for MetaMart. You know what I mean? I don't know. Again, it's like I think it's very unfair for people who exchange mana and own mana to have more voting say than people that are actually building and developing in the world.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Meanwhile, I haven't found shit, so.
Yeah, I think people.
Was in there.
It's gonna be
the chest open for me. It told me that it didn't tell me I got anything, but it didn't tell me that the servers were down.
Right.
Oh, really? Told me I keep going. The servers are down.
No, so I just got that to happen, but it didn't tell me I got an NFT. So I'm trying to go back to it now.
I went over there and I
don't know where the hell
the Explorer almost bombed out.
The chest for me doesn't even show up anymore. It's like,
oh no,
it's the only thing not visible anymore.
And I don't see any people.
Wait, so we're here now.
Oh, it moved. Oh, it's floating.
Well, it's broken.
Floating?
Yeah. So.
He found something.
It says you found a treasure. Click on it to see what's inside.
God damn it, man! Run!
Oh, he found 100 mana or 100 ERC20. Yeah, 100 mana.
Oh, give me 100 mana.
So
give me that
0.
That's the menace.
And then it crashed.
Damn it.
As soon as I get over here, it's like your connection. Oh god.
So Frankie, keep running around. There's like a chest that's floating in midair, and
oh wow, I found something. Click to see what's inside.
Yeah, there we go.
Fuck you guys.
100 mana, nice. I'll take it.
Everybody's getting 100 mana. I want my 100 mana.
Yeah,
that's an avatar right there. You make your second one.
It's a name.
Yeah.
No way I'm gonna get a name, but still.
Yeah, we're trying to locate where it was. That way we can tell you, but
74 -7.
77 9.
Oh wow, it just bombed out.
Yeah, it happened to us.
Same here. Yeah.
74. I'm at 7. I gotta go straight down.
Unreal.
So now we'll be able to show everybody what these people.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole point of us just running in this stupid area trying to pick the same.
Yeah, and I guess they're simulating what's going to happen in 6 days. Pretty much everyone's going to be doing this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but again, that whole decentralized thing in the node system, I don't know when that's going to go live, but maybe that, I can only see that helping the load balancing.
Yeah, for real.
It has to, for sure.
Yeah,
and that gets back to the whole decentralization, and taking over someone's NFT, et cetera, and land. How is there a digital handshake or a hashing that happens when you ping the decentralized servers, or is there a mechanism where you can't steal other people's land, or we want to go and if people give us access, go pull their land scene so that we have it, so that they don't have to upload it. I think that would be a huge positive for MetaZone.
Right there. Nah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Where's my floating chest? Oh no! I had it.
The blue screen of death.
This is part of the gameplay. The crashes.
They said they wanted it to be difficult, dude. So here we go. This is the difficulty.
But that's not where you found the chest, right, Oscar? That wasn't the
I think
place.
the chest was bugging out. That's why it appeared randomly over here.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's the right spot.
I opened it again and nothing happened. So it did probably register that I've already gotten something.
Can you check your wallet to see if you received an extra 100 mana? I don't even know if you're going to tell the difference.
I will. Did anyone look at their console when they clicked it to see if something pinged their server?
Oh no, it crashed before I could test that. Be interesting.
Yeah, I got it. I received my mana.
Oh, you got it. Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
The experiment is working.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whenever you type into the chat, you see your name, or you don't see you see yourself as guest.
I'm pretty sure.
Hold on. I tried to go get some more mana. It didn't work out. So I guess they're.
It's working somewhat.
Yeah, it's working.
What you could do is switch your address and then try again. But I think.
No, I'm still a guest.
Oh, you're still a guest. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it on my MetaMask. The 100 mana.
Yeah, as much as I like programming and working in the DCL world, switching and having multiple addresses and avatars and stuff is a little.
There it is.
There you go.
So you just reloaded, Frankie, and you saw it, right?
Yeah. insufficient funds. What are you talking about? Goddamn mana.
Yeah, I didn't go through that process.
The MetaMask confirmation
Popping up.
Yeah.
But that was,
That makes
I
sense.
mean,
saw
if that was the first time, that would have been awesome, you know?
Yeah.
But that was good.
It would have been awesome if you didn't. Their spawn point wasn't right next to it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I think what they're intending to test here is the fact that you click on a chest and you get 100 mana, and that it's reliable. Not
wasn't somebody
like
wasn't somebody mentioning in your one of your chat rooms about ETH payments? Was it HP?
Yeah, HP Polakos was asking. He said he got it working. So if we ever have, if we're setting up payments, we can ask him for the details.
Well, I got it working for my for sale a lot. I think there's a mini market there for people to put on their land again when they want to be for sale, to be able to do it in world, to interact with a for sale parcel and buy it right there. I think that would be not huge, but I think it's a nice plus to have to keep people in the world versus having another tab open.
Hey, someone's asking, should we go somewhere else now? Put in 61, -27.
Dude.
All right, let's go.
What a plugger you are.
No.
Type
it in the chat, Frankie.
So you tell other people. So you kind of promote for us.
I got you. 61.27.
-27.
Negative or just regular 27?
Negative.
Yeah.
All right. You wanted me to put that in the chat?
Yeah, let's put it in the chat.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I just went.
Well, we can at least record some of the stuff there anyway. But no, it's going to be interesting when it launches and people are like having this much trouble, because I pretty sure no one's going to have the patience that we do.
Yeah.
Well, we actually have the experience of not having that patience and then losing out on shit too.
Well, yeah, for sure.
But also,
if I spent 20 more minutes on that Christmas thing, I would have made like a couple $100.
It goes back to the whole thing of keeping everything within the four walls of your current Explorer browser versus going in and out of other tabs. I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love what you guys do. Yeah, that's why I want to work on MetaMart, because being able to view, preview, adjust everything in world, and then using the MetaMart as it is as a developer upload, front end would be crucial for the world, and interactivity and things like that. It makes people want to come back for sure.
Yeah, I'm really interested. It'll be interesting to see what DCL puts out for their marketplace, because it's really hard to imagine that they're gonna have this meta upload scenario, like upload your code and we'll deploy it automatically to whatever land you want. So,
right.
So hopefully hopefully we're not burning time on creating that. But it kind of sucks that they don't.
I don't think we will if we want to create it, because there's Burger King, there's McDonald's, there's all kinds of different ways to do things. And maybe we figured out a better way.
True.
We're supposed to all be working on the same code base, hopefully. Again, it would go against the nature of decentralization if they had access to a code base that the developers didn't, or they got a leg up on their marketplace versus us. I don't know.
Going back to MetaMart, I think one of the things that we were chatting about in Discord was the ability to recreate OpenSea within Decentraland. And so if we create that MetaMart and we have people deploy that MetaMart in their world, if we automate this correctly, any NFT, at least in relation to Decentraland, can be purchased within Decentraland. And there would be no work to be done, because OpenSea is completely automated. They just built a website. They're listening to all the new smart contracts being submitted, and all of a sudden, all these NFTs are popping up on the website. And we can do this exact same thing with MetaMart and charge the 1 or 2%, for the fee.
Exactly.
Yeah, FrankyNeedles, what are your thoughts on that picture frame?
Can I put a picture up?
Yeah, you can.
Are you guys shaders overlapping in this tower, or is that just my screen?
Sometimes I do see that effect. Like if you go behind that picture frame, like sometimes.
Oh, it hasn't loaded yet. That's why it's still all loading.
Hey,
okay.
Corv, how do I put up a picture?
So go to your land, go to zones. So on and yeah, my.
Oh, but I don't have the picture of the thing on my land.
We'll update it. So go to your zone. Yeah, on my land, we kind of updated that.
Oh damn! This is all kinds of fancy. I don't have a trophy or nothing.
You got a new profile system. My land. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you can drop it in there, and then at the.
Hey, Corv, have you guys done?
Top right.
Do you have like a meta inventory? Like again, I don't know what kind of HUD or system that DCL is going to have, but again, if you own Meta, and you go to your land, is there a way to like again have a pop up to show maybe controlling a Meta you click or the ones you've purchased to be able to add or delete to your scene?
Yeah, and we just added a little bit to that, so you can click buy now.
Yeah, I see it. I'm not gonna get it right now, but
yeah,
I see it.
Yeah, we're gonna have like an inventory for all the metas that you have, because right now on MetaZone Tower, there's actually more metas in there that we deactivated, but it's still in the inventory. It doesn't show up in the public, but eventually it's stuck in the zone inventory. But we're gonna probably move it back to your like global inventory. That way you can have multiple lands and kind of purchase and kind of remove move it around.
The pictures that are in there are for you, the landowner puts those pictures up.
Yep, correct. It's in our settings for that land location meta.
All right. I'm gonna go for a run. There we go.
Skeleton demo.
Oh! Look, hey. That wasn't a good run. I started with the wall. It was too close to me. Okay, let's go. I know what I'm doing now. Jump.
But yeah, I'm really we definitely need to work together, Lastraum, because the final pieces are in place to make it. Because these images, you can switch we just upload 4 MetaZone already has the images for all the metas. So now that we got this external image loader working. Now we can just put up a picture frame per meta, and it'll flip through all the images for that meta.
So it's like a different form of advertising to maybe you want to put up a meme for the day, and you just upload a meme.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you want, man.
That's cool.
Advertise however you want to.
I've been thinking. I don't know. I want to create. I want to create platforms and things. Like an advertising platform, and kind of work on this. This is what I was thinking about in 2018 when everybody's buying land. And I was like, man, what if we created a platform where advertisers can come on, go to a DApp, see where and what type of screen and upload their content, and then it gets pushed to that screen and that piece of land or in that world, and it just keeps getting updated,
Yeah, we're all the pieces are in place for that now. We were thinking about how best to do it, because if you have one advertisement board available in one land, another one in another land, what is the interface to make a purchase for just one location but not all of them? Because right now it could be either way depending on how you code it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
endless possibilities, gentlemen.
The more complex part is not even that. It's the pricing structure. So is it per day that they're paying?
Right.
And can somebody overwrite? Is it a bidding process where the last bid was $100 and he's gonna stay there until somebody pays $101, and then it gets replaced?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
All these options for
because different locations have different value when it comes to advertising, right?
Yeah,
dependent on foot traffic and all that. So you have to track impressions and all that, essentially.
Yeah, and then you can track how many people have seen it. At least, you can track how many people got close enough to click on it.
Yeah.
All these things that could be, all these complexities that you can add, to the pricing structure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, play the other 2 games on the top floor, Frankie.
Yeah, it looks.
I'm trying to tell you, I have trouble climbing these.
No, not anymore.
We put walls there, so you can't fall out. Yeah.
Yeah, try and jump off. Try and suicide, dude. It's not gonna happen.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, they made it Frankie proof.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that and had to fix it.
We're looking out for everybody, man.
Yeah, the top floor is the only one.
Block hole, my nemesis. Let's go.
It's gone faster now. I don't know if you played since a couple days ago.
How the hell? Why do I feel wrong?
There you go.
What am I trying to do?
Solid colors.
Just look at the
Orange.
Orange. Oh, it's giving me a color. Oh, it's good. I like that.
Nice.
a lot more intuitive now.
Blue. I'm blue. All right, I'm do blue. Oh, the color thing is huge in the little corner. Yellow.
Oh, got him.
All right. Now that game's fun.
Yeah, there you go.
It definitely helps or improved a lot. Yeah.
Give us your mana.
I don't have to think about looking at the wall no more. It just says yellow or it says blue or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
So, and then the next, since you have a little bit of experience with the payment process, Lastraum, so right now he just clicked and played. That's one way we could do it. We haven't set it up yet. But he would have to pay and either wait, 30 seconds, 1 minute. What are you guys' opinions on that process? Like, Frankie, how long would you wait before you could start playing where you start to get unhappy? Like,
how long would I wait before I start? Hold on a second. Let me get out of the music is bumping in.
You can press escape and that on the bottom right.
Yeah.
You can turn it off. Yeah.
All right, cool. What were you saying?
Yeah. So if we haven't set up the payment process yet, but
how long are you willing to wait before you can get into a game?
Yeah, because it has to confirm that you actually paid, not fake paid and stuff like that.
Oh, so you gotta wait for all the
confirmations
to go through?
Yeah.
At least we're thinking at least one, which should take about 30 seconds. 20 to 30 seconds.
Long for mana to take the transactions. Like mana transactions are pretty quick.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. As far as how long I would wait, I mean, if you were coming into this game today, you gotta remember that, this is a day one game. So if you're coming into this game today, you gotta have some patience.
Yeah, true. I agree.
Yeah.
So, I think that anybody that's involved in day one is going to understand what they're stuck.
I took a phone break. Are you saying how long before you can play again after you lose?
No. He's saying how long would, as a player, am I really willing to wait before,
for the confirmations.
Yeah.
Basically get
into
the game.
If you're involved in this and day one, then you probably already know that,
Are you using the Matic network at all?
I don't believe so. Then no.
Zero idea how to implement that, so no.
We're using the Matic network in the casino, and it's automatic.
So do people
instantaneous?
People have to
So what do you do? How do you integrate
about
that?
In the interview? How it you take a certain amount of money to the casino. All right, I'm gonna $50 or whatever, 50 mana. Let's say 50 mana. And you put it in the thing, and that's where you go play with. And so everything will be instantaneous. And then when you leave,
it's like a different wallet.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you implemented it yourself, Lastraum, the Matic network?
We're in testing right now. The Matic actually will launch in April.
And that's just a different ABI contract that you're using for all the okay. So it's not
we're planning on getting one of the Matic guys on the podcast pretty soon, within the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be interesting, and plus,
definitely.
They're sponsoring to a certain extent the launch for Decentraland.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're throwing a little money down there,
which makes sense now because there's actual integration. People are actually using the platform.
Yeah,
that's really good. That's good to hear because like we said earlier in the podcast, that seamless experience is essential for a gamer.
Yeah,
I don't think people are gonna want to wait. Just like how people are proposing for Ethereum, social networking sites where if you wanted to thumbs up somebody's post, you gotta wait for that confirmation. That's not gonna go down.
I think I totally agree. I think there's a workaround, at least for right now, is that we don't need any confirmations. As soon as you pay, you can play.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do on our back end is that address you used to pay. It's did we at least receive a couple confirmations? And if you did, then you get to go on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Or then
I think what you just got to do is you've got to check their mana, amount before every play, right?
Yep. Yeah, and
so just check their mana amount before every play, and then you don't have to wait for a confirmation.
Yeah, and on the blockchain, right? Not the info that they send. I guess check the transaction.
I'm sorry.
Or check the address that they're using. If the address doesn't have any mana, then
that's a good point.
They'll play, but it won't count. You can play, but it's just not going to count on the leaderboard, and that's the reason why you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
All
true.
right.
And I mean, my mana transfer was probably within, I don't even know. I mean, it happened before I checked Etherscan. So call that 10 to 15 seconds.
So it might be faster than what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the gas was. I didn't even look and see, to be honest with you.
I wonder why everybody else has a name and not me.
Oh, look, there's Rio.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
You know what you can try to do, Frankie, is clear the cache, and then that should work.
Settings.
Yeah, go to settings and then scroll down.
All right, let's try it again. Get out of here. Reset. All those things. How do you say his name? Rio?
Yeah, real.
So I guess we're approaching like the wrap up time.
Yeah, so it's been 2 hours. We really appreciate you guys joining, man. This is very helpful. We want to do this kind of like on a quarterly basis.
Yeah, minimally, hopefully, maybe more if it's needed. I don't know, depending on how many people want to get involved.
I think that people should see and hear from the people from Decentraland that are working on it, because otherwise you don't really put a face to what's going on. I know my face ain't up right now, but I'm just saying that in general.
No, I totally agree. I think part of the reason why we've gotten some sales in MetaZone is because we put our faces out there and we're just being truthful about everything that we're working on.
Yeah, every step along the way, it's been on the podcast.
Yeah,
and that's for me. That was really helpful because it was like I didn't know what to do at all.
Right,
and so then I guess I did a little bit because I was working with Catherine already before I saw you guys stuff, but. At the same time, it was just helpful. It was helpful to see that somebody else was kind of in the same, you guys run this very similar timeline as me. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and unfortunately, Catherine wasn't able to join us today, but we'll have her back on.
Yeah, we'll definitely have her.
She fell asleep. It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, right now it's actually 10 p.m. So I'm sure she got caught up with something.
Yeah,
exactly.
No biggie, no harm, no foul.
She does a lot of 3D stuff for DCL too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she built that the Project Paint building.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, she does a lot. Of
she had a
awesome
big
work.
hand in the kind of Dia de los Muertos wearables, that one playtest.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was working on a lot of that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We need to conglomerate all her work and display it on a podcast. Probably next time for sure. Oscar's trying to show us something. What's going on?
Yeah, it's the neon suit.
Oh, yeah, the cyber suit.
Trying to get a screenshot.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
That's what I was saying. I would want
Who's
all
got
three
it?
of us to be rocking that suit in our
Some
little
guy
promo
named
video.
Jose
Yeah.
P. Josep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's the guy that you saw earlier.
I recognize people's names from OpenSea because I see all these things. So.
All right, guys. Appreciate your time, and
Definitely.
let's keep it going on Discord, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
I see you guys.
Good talking to you guys. I'll talk to y'all soon. Yeah?
Later.
All right.
Later.
Peace.